would appreciate that. So would I. Thank you. Anywho, so week 14. Let's talk about it. So we do the preview. I'll tell you who I like, and then I'll go through the games, tell you who I like, who to watch out for, and all that good stuff. Let's get started, all right? Let's jump into it. Let's talk football. Talk about some guys we like. So, boom, right out the gate, 1 o'clock. You got Tennessee, Jacksonville. We got a little division matchup here. Tennessee, on the Tennessee side, depending on who you're playing, I'm pretty sure, we're not getting into injuries yet, but I'm pretty sure A.J. Brown is playing. I'll double check when I get to the injury report. I've skimmed through it. I don't have it memorized yet, but Corey Davis, I'm pretty sure he's in there. He has been playing well, so if you've got him, you're probably going to start him. Tannehill, I'm sure he's not your quarterback, and bye weeks are over. Unless you have an injury, you can go with him. Jonnu Smith, I don't know if he's back yet. I'll check. This isn't a huge game. This isn't a huge fantasy game outside of the running backs, really. And a couple guys on the Titans. Derrick Henry's definitely in there. He's going to be high up on my top 10. I can tell you that right now. That's just easy. The defense, you can probably add them in there. If you're looking for a streamer, go with the Tennessee Titans defense. The Jacksonville Jaguars offense does not scare people, and they can make mistakes. So why not go with them if you're looking for a streamer guy to pick up, streamer defense to pick up this week? That's about it on the Tennessee side. On the Jacksonville side, James Robinson, I heard some rumblings about him, but I think he's playing. We'll get back into that a little more. I'm sure the James Robinson owners out there know exactly if he's playing or not. I saw that he was a little banged up, but you may have to wait on that. You may not. So we'll get into that. We'll get into injuries. But if James Robinson's in there, you got to play him. I read that last week was the first time since week 9 James Robinson did not get all the carries, all the running back carries. That's just dominating your backfield. So James Robinson is definitely one of the guys that really popped this year for you. If he got you to the playoffs, congratulations. So on the wide receiver tight end side, you really can't go with anybody. What are you, Tyler Eifert? You're really in that bad of shape? You're going to put Tyler Eifert in there on the Jacksonville side? If he's even playing, I don't even know who's playing. DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault. I think Laviska Chenault's going to play. I'm not sure. But I doubt he's going to be in your on your league playing on your team unless your wide receivers are that bad. And if they are, how the hell do you make it to the playoffs? So that's about it. You know, you get the major guys, the main guys from the Tennessee Titans and James Robinson on the Jacksonville side. That's who we're going with in the first round of the playoffs, unless you got a bye. Speaking of bye, say bye-bye to these next two teams for the season in real football, at least. There is still some, you can still get some value out of a couple of these guys. Well, in this game, we'll see. So, next game on the docket. Dallas at Cincinnati. Zeke is a little banged up, but I think he's going to play. Who else on the Cowboys side are you going to take a shot with? Maybe Cooper. C.D. Lamb, he started out great when he had Prescott. He was right leading the way, rookie of the year. Or at least in the running. Not no more. Now he's catching 3 for 14 yards and crap like that. So it's not great. And you don't really know who to put in there outside of that. They do have good receivers outside of Cooper in terms of Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. But the quarterback play has just devolved so much that you can't in good conscience throw either of those two guys in there unless you know something. You know more than me. You know more than talk, man. I don't think so. So I'd stay away from those guys. Dalton Schultz has shown that he can be viable as a tight end in your league. If you're going against Cincinnati, why not? Cincinnati's got a great defense. And if your tight end maybe is banged up or something, I don't know any starting tight ends that are very banged up. I mean, Kelsey's in there. You're not starting him over him. Waller, you're not starting him over him. Hawkinson, you're probably not starting him over him. So who are you going to start Dalton Schultz over? And is your team that lackluster that you're going to put him in there as your flex? You probably have somebody ready in there. So, but if you do need a tight end, Dalton Schultz, you can deal with that. He's been getting some targets in there. So on the Cowboys side, you got that and Zeke if he plays. If not, pick up Tony Pollard just in case, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play. He looked okay against Baltimore last week. He had a couple good runs, especially after the halftime. He looked okay. But we'll say Cincinnati's not the defense Baltimore is. So on the Cincinnati side, I really don't know. I mean, there's really not much you can take off this team and put out there. I'm not sure about Joe Mixon if he's coming back. Why would he? With this offense now, the quarterback you can't put in there. The wide receivers, I understand that Tyler Boyd was really outplayed his position during the year. He really did. He really played well, but just getting targeted. But now you got this guy in there, so you can't really start anybody. I can't in good conscience say starting anybody on Cincinnati is worthwhile, especially in the playoffs. Week 3, totally different story. So basically, Cooper, you're even going to bend my arm a little bit. I'd go with somebody else on your team, but if you have to, go with Cooper and Zeke if he's playing. If not, Tony Pollard. So that's it for that. For all the fantasy aspects of that game. It's not a very good fantasy game. It's not a good game overall, but it is what it is. And you got to deal with it. It's the playoffs. Deal with it. Next on the list, a little more fantasy relevance, but it's very one-sided. Arizona at the Giants. You got Arizona. You got Murray to Hopkins. Both of those guys are in there easily. Kenyon Drake, I'm not sure what's going on with him. He had a questionable mark next to his name last I saw. So keep an eye on that, all you Kenyon Drake owners. If he's not playing, you got to go Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds, if you have him. On the Giants side, I can't see anybody in there, especially if you're putting Colt McCoy in there again. Last I saw, Daniel Jones had a Q next to his name. That's not great. I don't see this as a very good game. The Giants defense is playing well. I mean, you saw what they did to Russell Wilson last week. Now, Russell Wilson has been, he was up in the stratosphere the first, 6-7 weeks of the season, and then boop, 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 he just started coming down. And then last week, he just cratered. I think he put up like 13 points or something like that. A pick and a fumble I think he had. Not great. But the Giants defense has to be given some credit for that. They've been playing well. They're playing well now. So I wouldn't go with the Giants defense against a strong Arizona offense. But most of the fantasy options are on the Arizona side. You got Murray to Hopkins and the running back situation, which you have to keep an eye on. Edmonds owners and Kenyon Drake owners. On the Giants side, there's really nobody. Wayne Gallman, maybe. Maybe he'll catch a couple balls here and there. And he has been doing well. So Wayne Gallman, that's about it. And that's basically because there's so few running backs out there that can get you points. You can't put in backup guy. You can't put Joshua Kelly. You want to put Joshua Kelly? You want to put Charlie Kelly? Good luck with that one. Anyway, next. Houston at the Bears. Houston's got some guys going, but what are they going to do? Who are they throwing the ball to? I'll get to Brandon Cooks. You don't have Will Fuller. Deshaun Watson, he's in there. He's playing. Will Fuller's out. Brandon Cooks, I think he's starting to get, wait, you want me to be the number one guy? Oh, no, my arm hurts, my neck hurts, my back hurts. Now he's getting injured. You can go with the Kiki QT if you want, maybe. Kenny Stills is out, I think. It's just a nightmare over there. And I guess if you're starting, if you were going with David Johnson against the Bears, that's a tough one. So this is just a hard team to put out there and try and figure out what you're going to do with your running backs being with the Houston Texans. It's just tough. But we'll see what happens. I don't think this game's going to be that great. The Chicago defense, I would start them. I think they have a really good shot to put up some points, get a pick or two, even though Deshaun Watson's been playing well. Bears defense is pretty good. So on the Texans side, you really don't have much outside of Deshaun Watson. Maybe David Johnson, but I wouldn't be too thrilled with that. He could get you some PPR points, being that there's no wide receivers out there. But we'll see about that. Duke Johnson's just he's not playing anymore. On the Bears side, I do like David Montgomery. As much as I didn't like him last year, I like him. I liked him a little bit last week. I like him a little more this week. I think they're going to run the ball and keep the throwing to the safe throws for Trubisky. We'll see what happens. I always like Allen Robinson. He was a top guy of mine this year, and I think he's going to do well against this Houston Texans defense that used to be good but isn't what it used to be. So Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, we'll go with them. I'm not too thrilled with tight ends on this team, but if you need one, I guess you can go. I mean, Cole Kmet scored last week, so you don't know what you're getting there now, tight end wise. So basically, if you don't have Travis Kelce or Darren Waller, a few other guys, tight ends are so up in the air. That's why, like I said at the beginning of the year, if you're in a league with a tight end, you will go grab the best one you can as quick as you can. And the best one this year was by far Travis Kelce. With Darren Waller close behind, especially after last week. He had to put up 50 points last week just to get in the same area as Travis Kelce. Unbelievable year he's having. Game-wise, I guess I'll go with the Bears just because they're at home. And Houston's dealing with not having so many guys to throw to. So we'll go with the Bears, I guess. Moving on. Ooh, here we go. Now we're getting into some fantasy fun games with fun. Minnesota at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's loaded with guys. Minnesota's loaded with guys. On the Minnesota side, you got Dalvin Cook. You got to start. Adam Thielen, you got to start. Justin Jefferson's come on. You got to start him. Tight end wise, I wouldn't be too quick to start Kyle Rudolph, especially if you started him last week and you got two targets for 0 catches. Put up a goose egg for you. How's that feel? On the other hand, you've got that's about it on the Vikings side. You got the 2 wide receivers who are going to catch all the balls, and with mixing in Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins. Well, he's been playing well. I think they're putting up 273 yards through the air in the last 6 games, which they've won 5 of. So, tough game. I like all those guys on the Vikings side. I also like a bunch of guys on the Bucs side. Tom Brady you can start. Mike Evans you can start. Chris Godwin you can start. I'm still a little weary on Antonio Brown just because there's so many guys that are calling for the ball. I think they're still trying to integrate him in. Maybe this week he goes nuts. Who knows, especially against the Vikings defense that started out pretty bad but has been playing better, but they're still not great. So this is gonna be an interesting game. A lot of fantasy guys in there. I guarantee you, if you're in the playoffs, you've either got a guy in this game or you're playing against a guy who has a guy in this game. There's a lot of guys in this game. So even the running backs, you got the Ronald Jones you can go with. Rob Gronkowski you can go with. It's just going to be, I think Brady has a really big week this week, so we'll see what happens. But I do like the Bucs in this game. I think I've said I like the Bucs every week just because they got so much offense. They've been playing crappy. They had their week off. I think, we'll see if they got it turned around. And, Tom Brady and the Bucs have such a great playoff schedule in front of them that you could make an argument if you have Tom Brady and a Russell Wilson. I could see putting Tom Brady in there over Russell Wilson, especially if he keeps playing like this. Not this week just because, we'll get into Russell Wilson's matchup. But going forward, I don't know. We might have to make some changes here. But I do like the Bucs, and there's a ton of guys in this game. Start as many as you can, and sit back and enjoy. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game with a lot of guys putting up points. Fantasy points, real points, all kinds of points. Points. Next. This is a sneaky good game. Chiefs at Dolphins. You've got Kansas City, like I said every week. Start them all. Just start them all. On the Miami side, now the Chiefs defense is a little. It's not a dominant defense. The offense is dominant. The defense is good. They can get, they can make plays when they need to make plays. They can get to the quarterback when they need to get to the quarterback. They rely on the offense to just run all over these guys, put them ahead by so many that it makes you one-dimensional. Now, if they make Miami one-dimensional, that's going to be a problem. You got Tua throwing the ball around all over the place against the Chiefs defense. That makes the Chiefs defense, I think, a viable play this week. If they're out there, you can go look and start them. On the Miami side, there's really, and that's everybody on the Kansas City side basically to start. But on the Miami side, Salvo Ahmed, or whatever his name is, I think he's banged up. We'll find out. But Myles Gaskin, if he's back, you could see Miami trying to run the ball, keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. So maybe that means good things for Myles Gaskin if he's back. But it could also mean that Kansas City goes up 21-0 with 4 minutes left in the first quarter, and that's the end of Myles Gaskin. So it's a tough to try and figure this out and see how this plays out. But Myles Gaskin, Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki played well last week. Why not again this week? So we'll see what happens. But there are some guys there on Miami you can go with. And hopefully they keep up a little bit. They're not going to be able to keep up play for play, pound for pound with Kansas City. But maybe they can hang in there a little bit. So we'll see about that. Miami's defense is pretty good. So you got to like Kansas City in this game. Next game, we're getting into 4 o'clockers. Colts at Raiders. This is a tough game. I think the Colts... Well, let's do fantasy first. For the Colts, there's a T.Y. Hilton sighting. If he's still out there in your league, go pick him up. He's playing well. Go grab him. I found him. He was sitting on the bench in my league. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing on the bench? And I look, he was a 6th-round pick. They got rid of him. I get it. I read his stats. He stunk for the first 11 weeks of the season. But he's playing well last 2 weeks. Last week he played very well. If he's out there against the Raiders defense is meh. I mean, they're okay. They can play well, but if you got a hot receiver out there looking to get into the playoffs here, make a strong playoff push, why not grab T.Y. Hilton? Even if not for this week, you never know. Injuries can hit at any time. So Phillip Rivers, he's a backup, but he could play. I think he can play well in this game. The running backs, they've got a lot of running backs over there. I think the main guy is definitely going to be Jonathan Taylor, especially after last week. He had a very good game last week. Caught one and ran for a bunch of yards. Almost got to 100. Nyheim Hines is the catching, the PPR running back. He played okay. Got you some points last week. Also got you a touchdown. It's hard for me to say don't start him. Don't start both these guys. They're both putting up points. So it's a tough call on there. You make that call, but they both could be viable options. I think Michael Pittman is cementing himself as, if not number 1A, along with T.Y. Hilton, who has seen Michael Pittman come out there and play so well that, hey, wait, I got to stop playing. I can't let the rookie outplay me. So he's been playing. He played well last week and the week before, and I think you can get that to continue. I think they see this as, okay, we're both going to go out there. We're both going to play our balls off, and then we'll see what happens. Rivers gets the ball. We're going to be that offense that throws the ball and runs the ball, and very balanced and very good. And the Colts defense is always out there, especially with David Carr. last week, the picks. I think he had 2 picks and a fumble or something like that. Just throwing them, hey, we got balls over here, giving balls away. Wait a minute. That's not what we're supposed to be doing, buddy. They did win that game, though. Got that coach fired, too. Stupid Jets. On the Raiders side, keep up with Josh Jacobs, see what he's doing. You've got Devontae Booker, which I picked up and started. Who was so smart? What did he get? Like 5 points, 5 point something points. Yeah, good job on that one. So, Darren Waller, just a beast last week. Probably going to be a beast again this week. And everybody else is kind of, you don't really know. You take you're kind of rolling the dice with the rest of them. So that's a tough call on there. Darren Waller's safe. I'd feel much better if Josh Jacobs were in there, but we'll see. So there's some players on the Colts side that are coming up, and you gotta take a look at the Raiders. If you got Waller, you're good. Everybody else is kind of suspect, a little suspect, but we'll see what happens. So I do like the Raiders a little bit in this game. Jets, Seahawks. Jets, like I said, I can't say any of these guys are any good on this Jet team. Fantasy-wise, I know that the Seahawks don't have any kind of defense, and the game's 2 touchdowns. So we'll see what happens. But I can't say any of these Jets are really very good. Ty Johnson, if you want to pick him up and give him a shot. I mean, Michael Perrine obviously isn't doing well. If Ty Johnson got you, 90-something yards last week? I don't think he got over 100, but he got you like 90-something. Nobody knew who the guy was. That guy's on the team? Yeah, put him out there. Hey, he got 90 yards. Good for him. So it's just tough sledding over there in Jet Town. On Seattle side, if Russell Wilson does not use this as just to bury these guys, I mean, 3 touchdowns and 100 and 300 yards in the first half wouldn't be unbelievable. But unless he's just falling apart after the absolutely ridiculous first 6-7 games of the season, this will be a giant collapse, especially if they lose this. I can't see them losing this game. But if they lose this game to these guys, a winless team with this guy who's MVP leading the MVP race first 4, 5, 6 weeks, something's wrong over there in Seattle. Russ just forgot how to play. I wouldn't let Russ cook. I'd let Russ eat because he ain't cooking nothing. He's cooking up L's. So if things go the way they should go, Russell Wilson's a starter. Chris Carson's a starter. Both wide receivers are starters. Everybody's a starter here in Seattle, and they should win this game. And another game, 4:25, Packers-Lions. Every year they play. It's like they play twice every year. It's amazing. Packers-Lions, both these defenses are crap. Rodgers is playing nuts. He's got Devontae Parker out there. He's just going to him, and he's catching it. They are just lighting it up, both those guys. You got Aaron Jones in the backfield. Oh, here's some points for you, too. They're just going nuts. Robert Tonyan is a decent tight end. You can go with him. He's top 5 tight end. So all those guys you can go with and see what happens. I think they're going to win this game. They beat Detroit. On the other hand, Detroit, they're kind of falling apart. Kenny Golladay, I don't think he's playing, but we'll get into that more into the injury report. Marvin Hall, Marvin Jones Jr., all these guys are going to be out there. You do have Matthew Stafford in there. He's a capable quarterback, but we'll see what happens. I do like Marvin Jones a little bit just because there's no Kenny Golladay, and this Green Bay Packers defense is pretty crappy outside of the pass rush from last year, who was good. Not so much this year. They're leaving a lot to be desired this year. Just the pass rush. Overall, they're pretty crappy. So, tough game. Pretty good fantasy game. Not a great real game. But the Packers got the same old guys you're going with. Rodgers, Jones, Paul Adams, Tanya now too. On the Detroit side, DeAndre Swift may be playing. I'm not sure. You got to keep an eye on that if you have him. So it's tough. Marvin Jones, Marvin Hall. Maybe I'd be more apt to put in Marvin Jones if you have him. But the Packers, I like the Packers in this game. Here's a game of teams that stink, but are putting out tons of fantasy points. Atlanta at the Chargers. Atlanta is going to be with, I'm not sure about Julio. Calvin Ridley's going to be in there. Matt Ryan, who I'm sure you probably drafted him to make him your starting quarterback. That is not the way it turned out. I'd go with, you still got Todd Gurley back there, who isn't putting up 4 yards a carry, but still getting touchdowns. No matter what, this guy's still getting touchdowns. So good for him. Outside of that, there's not really too many guys. Hayden Hurst, maybe. But the Chargers defense, another team, they have players. They just can't put it together. Every once in a while, individually, they'll make plays. But I'm just not feeling the Chargers defense. Wait next year, maybe. They got their quarterback. Maybe next year they can figure that defense out, help them out a little bit. But on the Chargers side, you got Herbert you can start. If you've been starting him already, why not? Herbert, Austin Eckler is back. He's getting 50 targets a game. Keenan Allen's in there. Hunter Henry's in there. Those 4 guys make up the core of the Chargers offense that you can start. And just throw him in there. Hunter Henry's been a little up and down, but he's a starting tight end in fantasy football. Keenan Allen has been a top 5 fantasy player, fantasy wide receiver this year. Austin Eckler being back, he's immediately grabbing targets, actually eating in a little bit to Keenan Allen's target share. So, but kind of like the Chargers in this game because they're at home. Next, we got New Orleans at Philly. Jalen Hurts starting. Do not start him. You really can't start anybody in the Eagles except for Miles Sanders, maybe. That's about it. On the Saints side, you can start. I guess you have to start just because, like I said every week, the draft equity you put in, unless you have guys that you can take out and plug in over Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. Even though Alvin Kamara is still playing well, his numbers are down since Drew Brees went out. But he had a touchdown last week. The week before, he did kind of crappy. But you can't just put the guy on the bench. So you got to start him. And you can start Taysom Hill. He threw He threw a touchdown last week and ran one in or something like that. Put up 27 points for you. Not bad. Not great. He didn't do great. When he did throw the ball, he threw it to Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. That's about it. And he threw a touchdown to Jared Cook. So a little weirdness going on with the Saints. They're not as high up there fantasy-wise as they used to. They've taken a notch down. But they were so high up. They were in the Kansas City mold, the Seattle mold from back in the beginning of the season. Now they've taken a little step back. Now they're kind of in the we're good, but you don't really know what you're going to get. So we'll see what happens. I like the Saints in this game. Not again. I mean, Jalen Hurts. No disrespect to the guy, but he's a rookie starting against a really good defense. And the defense on the Saints I would start as well if you're going to go pick them up. The Saints side, the Eagles side, like I said, you got Miles Sanders. That's about it. If this guy throws 350 yards, I'll be the most shocked person in the world. He's going to run the ball. He'll have more rushing yards than he will passing yards, probably. We'll see what happens, but this does not look good for the Eagles. They're getting a touchdown at home. God, imagine if they'd be on the road. Ugh. Next, another 4 o'clock game. Washington at San Francisco. This is going to be this. Well, let's get into Washington first. I kind of like the 49ers in this game. But Washington, I like what Alex Smith is doing. I wouldn't start him. He's more of a game manager now. But you can definitely start McLaurin. I mean, I'm sure you're starting him already. He's a top 15 guy, I think. Tight end wise, Jordan Reed's on the 49ers. I forget who Washington. I'm not looking it up. The big thing on the Washington team is who's running the ball. You have Peyton Barber running the ball. You have J.D. McKissick, which I don't think he's a real running back. Is he even running the ball? I'm sure he'll get a couple carries. But neither one of those guys, I would start against the 49ers. 49ers have a good defense, despite having nobody there. Their defense is still pretty good. So, McLaurin I'd start, and the defense I'd start on the Washington side. On the San Francisco side, Mostert, but you probably have to start him because he's another guy that he could. You don't want to put him on the bench and he breaks one for 80. Had him on the bench. Oh, I lost by 4. Yeah, now I'm out of the money. So you got to start Mostert. Deebo Samuel, you can go with him. Brandon Ayuk, maybe. But the 49ers having Nick Mullins in there is not great for your team. So we'll see what happens there. I do like the 49ers in that game. Start the 49ers at your own risk. Here's a good one. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Pittsburgh, Buffalo, you can start. People are starting all 3 of these Pittsburgh wide receivers. So why not? Ben Roethlisberger, you can go with him as well. I don't like him against Buffalo's defense, but if you got to start him, you got to start him. You got to check on the running backs. I think James Conner's coming back this week, but it's not a great matchup against the Bills, but if you just start it, you got to start him. And Pittsburgh's defense is a no-brainer. They always go in there. On the other side, same deal. You've got Buffalo. You got Buffalo defense you're starting. You're definitely starting Josh Allen. The running backs are a little mix and match. They're kind of tough to get a beat on. Zach Moss had a fumble last week, and that did not bode well for him the rest of the game. I saw a lot of Devin Singletary after that. The wide receivers are definitely starting Diggs. You're definitely starting. If you had him last week, Cole Beasley, you got to go with him again. And those are 2 mainstays on that catching the ball over there in Buffalo. You can even go. I wouldn't go with Eric Ebron on the Steelers just because they're throwing the ball to so many guys. You don't have enough footballs to throw to that many guys. So I like the Buffalo Bills in this game, but this is going to be close. I think the Steelers could go into the playoffs a little bit of a downswing. I think after last week, I think they're coming to lose this one too. But we'll see. We'll see. Monday night, the Cleveland Browns are on Monday Night Football. What? Baltimore coming off of they're playing a Wednesday night win over the stupid Cowboys. You got Baltimore. You got Lamar Jackson. He's going for you. You got to check and see who's running the ball over there. I'm still not comfortable with those guys, but it does look like they're leaning on the 2 young guys. Well, Gus Edwards and the rookie Dobbins a little more than Mark Ingram now. I don't see him being there next year. You've got Marquise Brown. You got to check and see if, and I don't think he is going to be back, but you better check and see if Mark Andrews is in. If he's back, you got to start him. On the Cleveland Browns side, do not expect Baker Mayfield to come back and do what he did last week, but I do expect Nick Chubb to have a good game. He's the most talented guy on that offense. And you're going on Monday night, I think for the first time. So we'll see what he does. The bright lights do bring out the stars. So we'll see. And just me saying that brought the line down. The bookmakers are watching the Talkman radio show live. It's true. The line just went down right in front of me. So Cleveland's +2 at home. I don't know. But Jarvis Landry I wouldn't go with. I'd go with the running backs. This is going to be a heavy running game. Even though Baltimore is good, they shut them down week 1 or week 2 of the season. I think they were a different team, and this is a different Cleveland team. We'll see what happens, but I like the Cleveland running backs in this game. That's about it for the Cleveland side. So that's it. That's the that's every game. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I missed any. So good luck with these guys. Dealing with these guys this week. It's going to be tough. You got a lot of tough games in there. If you made it this far, keep going. So that's the NFL preview for this week. I got something else for you. MyBookie. We've got sports back pretty much every day now, and if you want to support the 12-ounce sports team, there's an easy way to get in on the action. 12-ounce sports is going to hook you up with a crazy deal when you sign up and make your first deposit on mybookie.ag. When you make that first deposit on mybookie.ag, they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000 when you punch in the promo code 12-ounce sports. That's 120Z sports. All caps, no spaces when signing up on mybookie.ag to get your deposit matched up to $1,000. Remember, always gamble responsibly. And you're rolling them bones. So we got through my book. Let's see the injuries. See what's going on injury-wise. Ow, my leg. Ow, my arm. So we got, what do we got? We did last night. We don't care about last night. If you had Cam Akers, you picked him up during the year. And you're in the playoffs. You're feeling pretty good. So the first game we got here is the Vikings at Bucks. Injuries. Kyle Rudolph did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. Looks like he could be out. Irv Smith, I'd go with. Mike Evans, he's back. He was just out Thursday for some reason, and then he came back this week. Doesn't have an injury designation. Chris Godwin practice. He's good to go. That's about it. Next game is Giants. Cardinals at Giants. Daniel Jones limited all week. They think he's going to play. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't start him anyway. Kenyon Drake was limited in practice Thursday with a new injury. It's something to keep an eye on, definitely. And keep Chase Edmonds in the background. If you have both of them, keep them in the background. Make sure you can make that switch before the game goes. Who's next? Chiefs at Dolphins. Tyreek Hill upgraded to full participant after missing Wednesday's practice. Good to go. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Ooh. What a stinker last week. He's just sitting on the sideline. Has been a full participant Wednesday and Thursday, and good sign. He's looking to go. Salman Ahmed has not practiced all week. Looks like he's going to miss another game. That's not good. Myles Gaskin has been limited both days and figures to be a starter for the Dolphins again. He's back, but like I said, if Kansas City goes out in front, that's going to be tough. Titans at Jags. A.J. Brown has not practiced at all this week. It looks like the main guy, if he doesn't play, keep an eye on A.J. Brown. If he doesn't play, you got Corey Davis going to be the main guy. But how's he going to do being the main guy now? He didn't do that well when he was the main guy for those 2 years he was there before A.J. Brown got there. So we'll see what happens. Jonnu Smith upgraded to a full practice. Good sign. He'll be back. Jonnu Smith, good to go. James Robinson limited both Wednesday and Thursday. There's no apparent reason to think it's a serious injury. We'll see what happens. Keep your eye on James Robinson. Laviska Shenault, not that anybody's really starting him, has been limited. Could go either way this week. Cowboys at Bengals. Zeke Elliott, limited in practice so far this week. The Cowboys haven't had full practice yet. Thursdays was more of a walkthrough. Doesn't seem much concern, but Tony Pollard, if you have him, keep him. T. Higgins has been limited both days so far this week. Higgins should be able to play through the injury. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye on T. Higgins. Texans at Bears. Kiki QT, looking to start him. If Brandon Cooks does not play, Cooks has been limited each day of practice this week, which is less than ideal, definitely. But there's been no sign he's likely to miss the game, so he remains a wide receiver 2. We'll see Kiki QT upgrade to a full participant Thursday. Should be good to go. Allen Robinson has been limited both days so far, but he's played through the injury last week en route to 6 catches, 75 yards against the Lions. So even though Allen Robinson's a little banged up, they think he's going with it. Broncos, Panthers. McCaffrey's. Did I do that game? I don't know if I did that game. I think that game was off. Well, here you go. This is why. McCaffrey's unlikely to play in Week 14 as a result of the quad injury. He apparently suffered during the Panthers' bye week. What? Getting hurt in the bye week? Who gets hurt in the bye week? Bring back Mike Davis. Mike Davis will start in his place. DJ Moore reportedly tested positive for Mexican beer plague. Unlikely to be cleared in time for Sunday's game. Curtis Samuel also on the shit list. Not great. So Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, that helps. The only guy that helps is Robbie Anderson. So if you have him, maybe you should be going with him. What else? Here we go. Jets and Seahawks. Oof. Denzel Mims won't play. Oh my God, he's not? Yeah, Denzel Mims is out. Frank Gore did not practice Thursday. Seems to have been more of a usual rest day. He could be back. Jameson Crowder was added to the injury report Thursday with a new injury. Not great. We'll see what happens Friday. I didn't hear anything about him Friday, so you got to keep an eye on him. I wouldn't start any of these Jets anyway. Chris Carson, foot. Carlos Hyde, toe. Both were limited as they continue to play through injuries. Rashad Penny has been designated to return from the IR. Could help ease the burden. So you got to keep an eye on Carson and Hyde. I don't like either one of them going against this. This could be a big Russ game just because the running back, just to protect the running backs a little bit. Throw the ball to DK Metcalf and just get out of the way. Colts at Raiders. Josh Jacobs has been upgraded to a limited participant in Thursday's practice, but that doesn't necessarily mean he'll be back. John Gruden told reporters earlier in the week he doesn't expect Jacobs to play this week. So we'll see what happens on Friday. I saw a Q next to his name. Doesn't look good. Keep an eye on Josh Jacobs. And if so, I still wouldn't go. I wouldn't add Devontae Booker into your lineup after what happened last week. I wouldn't go with it. Washington at the 49ers. Tebow Samuel upgraded to a limited participant. Excuse me. Thursday, a good sign for his chances of playing Week 14. Samuel's injury is apparently not related to the fracture that cost him the start of the season. That's good. Antonio Gibson did not practice Thursday. He's dealing with a case of turf toe, so we're lucky if it's just a one-week issue. We'll see about that. If you got the bye with him on your team, be thankful. Hopefully next week he comes back. I don't know, though. Turf toe is a funny injury. And I wouldn't put any of those backups in there against the 49ers. McLaurin's upgraded to full participant in practice Thursday. Good sign. Go with McLaurin this week. Saints and Eagles. Latavius Murray was added to the injury report Thursday. That's about it. That's it for all the injuries. Falcons and Chargers. Julio Jones did not participate in practice either Wednesday or Thursday. We know Jones can play without practicing, but you'd still rather see him out there. It's not great. We'll see if he can get out there Friday. I haven't checked to see if he's been out there. So if you're a Julio Jones owner, check that out. Todd Gurley, limited participation. He'll likely continue to be limited, including during games. That's not great for a guy who's definitely one of your starters. So we'll see what happens with him. Keep an eye on Gurley. And if you have to put him in there, and then just pray. Packers and Lions. Kenny Galladay continues to sit out practice. It would be a big surprise if he was able to come back. I agree. DeAndre Swift, he's been limited in practice each day so far. So it's still not certain he'll be back there on Sunday. If he does, he may not be able to take the every back role. I don't think so either. Kerryon Johnson was able to practice in full Thursday, so he should be back. So Kerryon Johnson will probably take over if DeAndre Swift can't play. He's back in action. Steelers at Bills. Chase Claypool, given that we've seen both Swift and Edwards-Helaire miss games due to non-COVID, non-beer league games, whatever I call that. We can't just write this off as a non-issue. It was a tough one to trust after he started to lose playing time to James Washington last week. He's a high upside, high risk wide receiver 3. Yeah, I can go with that. No obvious concerns about health for either team in the Ravens-Browns game. Keep an eye on it if you got guys in that game, which you may. That's about it. That's it for those guys. Those are all the injuries for all the games. So, all the fantasy focus injuries for all the games. So, we'll see what happens with that. Good luck with that. Keep an eye on it. You know what else you should keep an eye on? Check out Zingo TV. It's free. Use the promo code 12ounce, 120Z. It really helps out when you do that. We appreciate it. 12ounce Sports is channel 761. Plus, they have other actual sports channels, music channels, and a bunch of other stuff. You got to go check it out. It's free when you sign up, but you got to use the promo code 12ounce, 120Z. It's free. Like I say every week, Zingo TV is free. It rhymes and everything. Go check it out. ZingoTV.com. All right, my top 10s of the week. We got quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. I'm going to flip a coin, and it landed on quarterbacks. We're starting with the quarterbacks. Top 10 quarterbacks this week. Number 10, Kyler Murray going against tough. You saw what the Giants defense did to Russell Wilson last week. Russell Wilson, I mean, he's a top guy out there, and you got to give the Giants defense a little bit of credit during that. Number 9, Phillip Rivers. Number 8, Tom Brady. I like his matchup this week against Minnesota. Even though Minnesota's playing a little better in the pass defense game, they've got a lot of weapons. I think that week off, they really got things together a little bit, and I think they're going to come out strong. Josh Allen against Pittsburgh, he's a must start. Number 6, Ben Roethlisberger. I think they're going to those two are going to get into it a little bit, have a little battle out there. It's going to be fun to watch. Justin Herbert, number 5, a rookie in there. Ryan Tannehill, I like his matchup this week against, where is it? Houston? Crap. He has a good match. He has a decent matchup. I like his matchup this week. Aaron Rodgers, number 3, Patrick Mahomes, number 2, and Russell Wilson against the Jets is my number 1 pick for quarterbacks this week. Moving on to running backs. Number 10, Aaron Jones. I think it's going to be a big Rodgers game, and then they're going to finish up on Aaron Jones. I think he gets a lot of points this week. Aaron Jones is my number 10. Number 9, Jonathan Taylor. He had a touchdown catch last week, 40 yards, and had 90 yards rushing. Good for him. Good game for him. Jonathan Taylor is my number 9. Melvin Gordon, after a big game against Kansas City, is my number 8. Dalvin Cook, number 7. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a lot more in this game, which will help him with his PPR, but I don't think he gets to 100 yards if you get a bonus for that. But we'll see what happens. He can break one. Dalvin Cook's my number 7. Number 6, David Montgomery. After all the crap I said about David Montgomery, last 2 weeks he's been in my top 10. He produced last week. See what he does this week. He's got a good matchup against... I hate when I cannot find what I'm looking for. Screw it. David Montgomery's my number 6. Number 5, Kenny Drake or Chase Edmonds. You got to see what happens with that one, but I like them both as my number 5. Going against the Giants. Zeke Elliott, number 4, against. I think they're going to use Zeke. He's the best player on that offense. I think they're going to go with him a lot against Cincinnati, who can't really move the ball with that backup quarterback in there. Number 3, James Robinson, just dominating the backfield there in Jacksonville. Who would have thunk that at the beginning of the year? And he's got a good matchup this week. Number 2, Alvin Kamara. I like Alvin Kamara this week against the Eagles. I think they just run the ball a lot. He's going to get his catches, and he probably gets a touchdown or 2. Number 1 this week, though, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry this week against Jacksonville, I think. Hold on, let's see. Yes, against Jacksonville. That's the top 10 running backs of the week. Wide receivers, starting at number 10, Adam Thielen. Gotta like Adam Thielen. I think they're going to throw the ball. Like I said, I think they're going to throw the ball a lot in that game. Puts Adam Thielen up there. I actually do like Justin Jefferson a little bit too, but he's just outside my top 10. Number 9, Tyler Lockett. Number 8, Amari Cooper. I think he gets some catches, maybe gets a touchdown out of this, but I think he's the main guy out there in Dallas. Number 7, Devontae Adams. Number 6, A.J. Brown. I think Tannehill and A.J. Brown hook up a little bit if he plays. If not, just switch out Corey Davis. He's going to be in a very good spot this week. Mike Evans, number 5. DeAndre Hopkins, number 4. DK Metcalf, number 3. Keenan Allen, number 2. And number 1 is Tyreek Hill this week. I think he has a big explosion against Miami. Even though Miami's a good defense, I think he comes out strong, and that's going to be a big game. I think Miami could have a shot this week, a shot to stay in the game. But they have a shot to make this a decent game. We'll see what happens, but Miami's better than you think. And that's it. That's my top 10s. So we're going to get into some PSAs. Want to get an inside look at recreational sports betting? Then check out the Vegas Squares podcast brought to you by 12 Ounce Sports. Catch them every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on Zingo TV, channel 761. I've told you that before. Check it out. And again, on Wednesday nights for their golf betting show, check out their website as well, lvsquares.com. That's the Vegas Squares exclusively on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV. And check out James and the Agent Wednesday from 8 to 9:30. Got a nice hour and a half hour game there. So we're not doing best bets this week. We're down one of our main guys, and like I said, you know, he's a tough old guy, but we'll see what happens. I hope, you know, especially if you made any money off his picks, give him a little prayer, will you? Don't be a scumbag. So moving on. Oh, and we're down to Love is Nice. Yes, we are. So, brought to you by BiscottiGourmet.com. Biscotti Gourmet offers you a new take on an old Italian tradition, a soft-baked mini biscotti in many delightful flavors. Go to BiscottiGourmet.com. That's BITSCOTTI Gourmets, GOURMET.com. BiscottiGourmet.com, and use the promo code TALKMAN. It's a different promo code for 20% off your order. Any flavor is a wonderful compliment with your coffee in the morning or as a guilty pleasure treat. BiscottiGourmet.com. This part of the show is sponsored by BiscottiGourmet.com. Like I said, it's called Love is Nice. This is the part of the show where we go over the counter-programming of the NFL on Sunday. Instead of watching your fantasy games, instead of watching your playoff games, she wants to watch this. And what does she want to watch? She wants to watch a Hallmark Channel. And I can tell you what you're going to watch. These are the crap movies, the vagina-based movies that you get instead of watching. And if you're just dumb enough to fall for this, I don't feel sorry for you. You deserve what you get. You deserve to lose your fantasy games and watch this and become a vagina. So, let's start at noon. Crown for Christmas. What? The little girl from Wonder Years was all grown up. She's pretty cute. After getting fired from her job, Allie accepts a temp job as governess to Princess Theodora. A spark forms between Allie and Theodora's father, Maximilian, the King of Windshire. Get away from me with this. First off, princesses don't give out temp jobs. That never happens. Secondly, the king doesn't give a crap about some temp in there. She's just gonna get used up, and and then you're gonna end up in the dungeon, sweeping the floor with a toothbrush. That's at noon. At 2:00, Picture Perfect Christmas. A dog. Oh, I see. It's all the same movies. It's so gross. A photographer who travels the world. She always travels the world. The other one's a temp for a princess. This one's a world-traveling dog picture taker. Takes off a few days around the holidays to take care of her grandmother. While there, she meets her neighbor, David, who needs help watching his 7-year-old nephew. Who cares? The girl's meh, and the guy just looks like a dork guy with a beard. They all have beards now. I don't know what this is. 4:00. Instead of watching your 4:00 late games, you're going to watch Love, Lights, and Hanukkah with an exclamation point. The girl is somebody. I don't know. But the dude is one of those Savage kids. Not Fred Savage, the other Savage. The one from the... Now they're getting the dudes from the old sitcoms from the 90s. Yeah, I need a job too. Put me in there. As Christina prepares her restaurant for Christmas, a DNA test reveals that she's Jewish. Really? Really? That's where we're going with this? The discovery leads her to a new family and a new unlikely romance over 8 crazy nights. Once we get Adam Sandler in there. I know. Stars Mia Kirshner. I know that name. Mary Lou Henner. Jesus Christ. Why don't you get Christopher Lloyd to get the Taxi crew back together? 6 hours in. On Doctor Who Christmas, it's called A Timeless Christmas. Charles Whitney travels, time travel. No one's going to put time travel in there now. Why not? Charles Whitley travels from 1903 to 2020, where he meets Megan. Megan Turner experiences 21st century Christmas. What? Twerking on TikTok? That's a 20th century Christmas. Give me a break. And they got this old guy in an old-timey suit. This is so terrible. That's at 6 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, instead of watching the 8 o'clock game, instead of watching the Pittsburgh Steelers, where I'm sure you got guys going with the Buffalo Bills, you're getting... I remember this girl with the twin black girl, if you can't see this, which you can't. And now she's... Where's the other twin at? Is she doing... This is the Hallmark Channel. Is the other one doing Lifetime movies? Christmas Comes Twice. When Cheryl visits the Christmas carnival in her hometown, she gets a second chance at life and she's transported to Christmas 5 years in the past. More time travel. What are you doing with time travel Christmas? That's 8 o'clock. And then to finish it off, never kiss a man in a Christmas sweater. That's stupid. It's just, this is awful. I'm done. Single mom, another single mom faces Christmas alone until it gets crashed. This is terrible. Good luck this week if you make the playoffs. I'll see you next week. Talkman Sports. I'm out.